Okay. I can do this multiple millions of recordings later. Hopefully this is the one that I upload. It's either my headset dies, my tracking loses, or I just go in a ramble. For those who don't know me, I'm Elise. I'm an artist of all sorts. I don't specialize in anything anymore, but I like making stuff. I've been making stuff for VR chat since 2019 in terms of like avatar creation to sell and stuff like that. And like, so this is, I want to say, I respect you as, even though I don't know you, I respect you by tracking. See what I mean? Having multiple issues just on top of my anxiety, great. Yeah, so I respect you just as I hope that you can respect my opinion. I respect yours, and even though my opinion may not be the correct opinion to you, we're all entitled to our own opinion unless it's scientific fact, right? I'm a firm believer in that if it's scientific fact, then it's true, unless it's proven wrong in terms of like in a scientific way with multiple studies, etc. Like, I'm not going there. If you take offense to this, I'm sorry. I'm not singling anyone out, and I'm definitely not like saying that people are shit, right? Use the information that I say to learn from and humble yourself. Just as I had to, just as everyone else has had to, we all learn to humble ourselves through creation and through criticism. And criticism can be constructive. For instance, me telling you your work shit is not constructive. That's just mean. But me telling you that, hey, maybe your topology could use some work around maybe doing this instead, that is correct constructive criticism, right? Take what I say not as gospel, obviously, but also, treat everyone in the comments with respect. Anyone who does comment, I will treat you with respect. If you start being nasty towards one another, I will turn off comments and I will, block you, basically. Like, that's probably the only thing I can really do, which means you can look, but you can't touch. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I can't, like, my brain's, like, not working. Anyway, this is about avatar creation, as well, if I haven't already mentioned it. TLDR is that a lot of creators, they've lost a lot of money comparative to what they've earned. It's not just one person, it's multiple. I've seen a lot of fantastic creators quitting. And there are many reasons I believe that's happening. So I'll go through them, and I hope that you can learn something from this as well if you're one of those creators that have an issue. I'm, as much as like I shouldn't be saying anything, like I feel I can't sleep without saying something about it, because like I feel like a lot of people are lost, and I hope that what I think is happening, that you guys can also see what I'm seeing, and work around that, or make some decisions that you may be thinking about making. Don't take it as massive advice either. Like, I'm just one small creator. I'm not a big creator. I'm just a small creator, and I care about others. Even if I don't know you, I care about you. No homo, obviously. Anyway, so number one reason is you're not someone's favorite flavor of soup anymore. So what I mean to say is that your stuff isn't shit. You could make fantastic stuff. I mean, 100% fantastic, out of this world stuff that, like, I would believe would be selling like freaking hotcakes. But you're not that. The people that used to buy that stuff, they don't buy that anymore because it doesn't feel like them. At the end of the day, an avatar or asset is something that embodies that person. For instance, you have that favorite pair of socks that you always wear. Well, actually, no, because that's disgusting. what's favorite jacket that you like to wear, right? And then it's like, I don't like you anymore. Drop it in the trash. You know what I mean? That Toy Story meme where I don't like you anymore. Basically, that's the best way to put it. And it's not because they don't like your stuff in general. It's just they like something else more. So what can you do to fix that? Well, besides outright changing everything, you could always like incorporate new things. Don't just look at Pinterest. Like, think outside the box. One of the only things I would say AI is good for is thinking outside the box. You could, you just type in something, spits out a whole bunch of images. And those images, and this is a gray area of it. And I am a 2D artist through and through before I was a 3D artist. There are still uses for AI. You may not like it. I may not like it, but there are uses. And to be honest, it helps you think outside the box. Don't use it, obviously, right? Don't use the things from AI. Use it to study, to kind of like think, hey, maybe I should make something like that. Maybe I should draw something like that. Because when you're an artist, you learn to get comfortable from being uncomfortable. And the problem is that when you get out of that uncomfortability and you go to a comfortability, you stop learning, you stop improving, you stop working on things, you stop making things that are outside of what you would normally make. Now, you have to learn to be uncomfortable again in order to improve and make something different. That's the advice I would give you, is learn to be uncomfortable again. Get out of your comfortable zone, get out of your little square and your little circle of things that you know and you believe that is the best thing for you. Make shit before you make good shit, right? It's always a yo-yo effect, right? It's always like a clap. Uncomfortable, union comfortable. And as an artist, you shouldn't be comfortable. You should always be slightly uncomfortable with what you're doing. There's no such thing as mastering art. You can't become a master of art in terms of like, you can't become the best of the best because there will always be someone better than you. Make sense? So that's number one. This next one is one that makes me a bit nervous, and it's something that needs to be said. Like, okay, I'm going to reiterate this again. Do not take offense. If you take offense, you need to really look at yourself and look at what you are producing and what you are making and get better by becoming uncomfortable with the fact that you are comfortable, right? Same thing goes, same with 2D versus 3D. You got to be uncomfortable to make better shit. There is a lot on the market. It is a very oversaturated market, but it's not oversaturated in a good way. It is oversaturated not just with great stuff. The great stuff is actually being overtaken by a lot of crap. And that's not saying that your shit is crap. Obviously, you could be a beginner and releasing your stuff. That's understandable, but you shouldn't be releasing the first thing that you've ever made. Before I made anything for VRChat releasable, I'd modeled thousands of things, right? A lot making stuff to get in for the wrong reasons as well. And I also very much disagree with the notion that everyone should become a content creator first off the bat. I think people need to learn before they should learn to crawl before they can walk. Same with 3D. Because it's being overflooded with things that aren't as good or things that, people are starting out with. Obviously, if you done the research, right, you understand your polygons, you understand, that n-gons are the worst thing in the world to put on a dynamic model, right? You understand the edge loops are important, that, poly count is important, material and all those. If you understand the basics, then yeah, sure, release your stuff. But then again, there's also a lot of unoptimized where people should be optimizing things, right? For instance, I'm not going to name obviously, but I think it's important that, sorry if you can hear Discord in the background, I think it is important that people learn what's out there. And I think it's important that you know an experience from someone who is experienced. Many years ago, now this was a very popular creator at the time. They made a lot of stuff which people used on models. I was like, you know what? I don't want to model this, right? So I'm going to buy it. I can model this. I know how to model this. I know how to make this, right? Nature of being a scratch artist in some respects is that you know how to make stuff. Do you choose to make stuff all the time? No, you can be bored and be like, oh, I just want to kit bash something, right? Okay, so moral story is I was kit bashing and I bought it. It cost 15, 16, 17. I don't remember. It was like 15 to 20 bucks, right, for this one asset. And it was a standard, I think it was like shorts or something like that. Something like that. It was like shorts, shirt or something. I can't remember. It was one of these assets that you just put on the model and it was covered up bits. I was like, okay, they look all right. They look what I wanted to make anyway. I was like, okay, this is a known creator. It's got 5-star ratings. It's got 45 5-star ratings. So of course I'll go buy it, right? Back then we didn't actually have pictures to show the topology. People didn't put the topology count on things. So I buy it. I put it in Blender. And I'm like, why is my poly count so high? When I've gone to go upload it. Because back then, people were like, oh, you have to be poor or better, right? So I did that. I did the poor or better thing. And yeah, anyway. Turns out that asset had over 100,000 polygons for one item. And it was such a simple item. I got so peeved. I was like, fuck it, I'll just make it. So I remade it for my model and wasted, money. Why am I telling you this? Because when that happens, people stop buying from everyone else too. And that gets into another topic, which I'll go into, but you have to learn to make better. For instance, if your polygons are super high, you're making a face, right? And your polygons are I don't know, 70,000 for a face. I'm making assumptions on I'm trying to think of things that may maybe learning how edge loops work, around the nose. It's kind of that, then that, then that, then that. Learning on how the structure should work, because your end or poly count will also depend on your edge looping. Because if you don't have good edge looping, you're going to add more polygons, right? Because you're trying to get that shape. But if you have the correct flow for your edges, so those lines, right, you decrease the poly count just by simply having that, because then you've got the flow of the model correct. Now, obviously, I'm still of the belief that, poly count for a PC should be up at 150,000 max. What can you do? We have limits set in place, right? But same with materials. If your shorts or shirt or leggings or shoes, right, if one of those has more than one material, you're doing something wrong, right? UDMs exist. That's another thing. Learning how to unwrap. There are so many steps to model. What I'm trying to say is that there's so many steps to models that you need to learn in order to release something, right? You can't just release the first thing you've ever made. You can't just release a blended donut and make it like $5. Make it free, right? Just like I made a donut here that's for free. Like I still, if I'm not happy with a project, I will release it for free. Like, or I just won't release it at all. There's, in terms of avatars, and I'm sorry to say this, like to some of you that have been watching me, that have watched me create, there's probably over like 70 avatars that I've made that I've just scrapped. Absolutely and utterly scrapped. I have models that have gotten to 99% done that are ready for just some Unity work, completely scrapped. And it's because I care about the quality that goes out to you. And I feel that standard is not being met. Right? There is too much, oh, I want to make a quick dollar than actual fixing. And another thing is if you're releasing packages that aren't organized, two, have things that are broken in them that you don't know how to fix, don't expect your, people that buy it. If someone buys something for like 35 plus bucks, right? Don't fucking expect them to do your work for you, right? You do your work. You released it. You make the money from it. You do the work from it. They're not your guinea pigs. You need to work on it. Keep it under wraps for another couple of weeks, right? Learn to fix your mistakes and learn to test for mistakes before releasing things. Sure, it takes an extra week, but that end quality is what's going to keep people coming back, right? I expect when I release a model to have at least 1 to 3 issues and possibly one major issue. I've been very fortunate that my past releases haven't had much issues. But that's because they're constantly tested, and I have a very lovely friend who makes fantastic Unity work that has been working with me. They are very, very wonderful at Unity work, and I will possibly go back to them for another few. There's a reason why I haven't even released Cyber at the time of this video. I've not released Cyber because there are problems, right? And I refuse to release something to my consumer base that is broken. Understand that I'm not saying this in order to single out people. I'm saying this, and I hope that if you are taking offense to this, you are learning and becoming humble from this. Because at one point I wasn't humble and I fucked up a lot of stuff, and that happens. It happens. We learn to humble ourselves through creation. We learn to humble ourselves through being not sugarcoated. I am not going to sugarcoat you in this video. It's important that I don't. Anyway, so there's that. Which brings me into the other issue, and this is the third issue. When you release crap, it throws a bad taste into someone's mouth when they buy it. Now, you may not think about it in this respect, but there's a reason why things get leaked as well. I mean, obviously people are cunts. I'm sorry, don't take offense to that word because, honestly, I'm Australian. I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to swear like that. I'm starting to become a little bit more comfortable now, as you can hear. Still very nervous, but I think most of it nervous are gone, so we're good. Okay, so there's websites out there, right, that people can get stuff for things that they shouldn't be getting for, right? They shouldn't be getting this stuff for free, but they do. The problem is that these people would have bought the avatars. Well, some of them may have bought the avatar back in the past, but they've been burned by too many people and too many other avatars to go ahead and to purchase something. Even if it's a fantastic avatar, they will, why am I paying for this? And that's the truth, right? Is that there are a lot of people who have been burnt now that won't ever pay for something again, right? And it's a hard pill to swallow. It is a very hard pill to swallow. But, what can you do? Oh, hand. All right, so we're down a hand. But yeah, so what can we do in this instance? There's nothing we can really do at all. Like, honestly, there is nothing we can do. The only thing that we can do is just keep going and hope that the people that are making crap or, that don't care about their end product. That's the best way to put it. Do not care about their end product, only caring about the dollar. If you are one of those people, stop. Look at yourself, look at what you are doing, and look what you're doing to other people around you. Your quick buck now doesn't just fuck up everyone around it fucks you over too. Right? Avatar creating shouldn't be about making a dollar. Avatar creation should be about making things that you enjoy making. Right? Like, I enjoy making clothes now more than avatars. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's that issue. The last issue is that the market's just so big. Maybe your time has come. Like, as creators, we always think that we want to do it all the time. But this is why I believe that, maybe in your heart somewhere you've given up. And there's nothing you can do about that. Once your brain's like kind of been like, I'm done with this, like you could go on so many breaks, right? You can go on so many breaks and things don't improve. Like, you just get tired. And so then your content suffers. Then you don't have any motivation to do things. I struggle with motivation now because I'm so tired from studying, right? But there are people out there that they just end up procrastinating all the time with just just modeling in general, and they end up just sitting there staring at YouTube for hours. And no break is going to help that. Maybe that's the point where it's like time to start thinking maybe there's something else you can do. And I will say this, not everyone's like this, obviously. I'm going to tell you from my experience, I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I have a whole bunch of health issues and problems. I still work now, so I have like a part-time job that suits me, that works for me, right? Everyone has that option. There is going to be work for you to do. You don't, like, I used to believe that there was nothing that I could do, that I was stuck at home working freelance all the time. But, I found some work that worked for me, and, I found a passion for caring for others in nursing. Like, I'm studying to be a nurse. The thing is that there is always something that you can do besides just sitting at home. Even if, like, people don't take CFS seriously, people don't take chronic fatigue syndrome seriously. But I tell you what, this morning, I woke up at work, because mine's an overnight job. I sleep at work and then, I'm on call. Like, I'm a care resident, basically. I was barely able to stand, right? I got home and the first thing that I did was just go sit down, and I was like, I'm going to pass out, right? But I still got up. I was still able to function, but, learning to function at your normal and finding a job that can fit your normal is important. That's what I'm trying to say. If avatar creation is not for you, it's not for you. If modeling is stressing you out to the point where you are sick from it and you are getting sick from it, it is not for you. You need to find something else. for your own safety and your own sanity. So, TLDR, if you're just skipping to the end, the reasons why people aren't buying stuff these days that I believe is, one, you're just not people's flavor anymore. Like, your stuff just doesn't work for them and they like something else. Two is that there is an oversaturated market, and it's not oversaturated in a good way. There are a lot of, it's hard not to say crap products, but, products that need work. That's what we'll go with. Products that need work. And by people who just care about a cheap buck, right? It's also that people have been burned too many times, so they don't purchase stuff anymore. They just download it for free. And maybe it's just your time. Maybe it's your time to move on to different things. And, you can use the skills that you learned here in the art world as well. Pave your path. But, to the creators that I know that just they feel hopeless, I hope that you find what you're looking for, and I hope that things improve for you in a positive manner. And for those I don't know that are having to deal with this, I hope this improves for you too as well. I'm sorry for the ramble, and I hope that I was able to help at least a little bit. Now I've got to find out how my arm's broken and why my arm's working. I guess I'm raised, this arm's now over my head, and it's hi. I mean, there's my controller right there. You know what I mean? Anyway, I hope that I was able to help a bit. I hope you had a good holiday.